What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Real Fans Podcast, Real Fans FC Podcast. And today we are hitting the final group of Copa America, and it is Group D. And yeah, we're only a couple days away. We tried to get this out a little earlier, but things messed up. But here it is. Check it out. And if you guys haven't seen our other group previews, Group A, B, and C, those are out now. Go check those. Let us know if we're stupid, if you like our predictions, whatever it might be. But yeah, let's get into it. Adam, how you feeling today?
As you can see by my getup, I'm feeling very, very nervous, scared, excited. But what can I say? That's what finals is all about. Go Cats.
And he's referring to the NHL playoffs. If you're somebody who's not from America and does not know what he's talking about, he's referring to hockey. But all right, Will's
or
back.
From Russia.
He left for a second. But Will, how you feeling?
Good. I just heard Adam say the Cats. I had to hop off the pod real quick. I didn't want to hear anything about him, so I didn't want to listen, dude. I'm still jealous. I'm still butthurt.
What, your favorite city in the world is Edmonton?
Yeah.
You love it?
No,
move there.
Dude,
Go move there. It's a beautiful city. I hear there's a lot to do. So much more to do there than Miami.
City of the Oilers, baby. Hey, they're gonna get it done. They're gonna get it done, bro. City of the Oiler maker, baby.
They make oil.
All right, I'll point it to you, Will. What are we starting off with first? Which team? Who you want?
Bro, I really want to say it, but I want to save them a little bit for the end. Let's go ahead. Let's kick it off with a team that we kind of know a little bit, but maybe the biggest surprise, Paraguay. Let's talk about them.
Paraguay. All right, start us off.
Okay, I got a quick overview on them. This team, talking about them, just beat Panama a couple of days ago, 1-0. They beat us in the Ramel Fernandez Stadium, newly renovated. This team normally plays with a 4-3-3. Obviously, the two main guys that we all know about is Julio Enciso and Miguel Almiron, which obviously we'll talk when you guys break down a little bit. Absolutely, have to say I did see watching him even against Panama. This guy can cook. This kid's the real deal. I mean, he's 20 of them.
Man.
Also, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
I got you. Ramon Sosa, that's another big time player coming out of Talleres out in Argentina's first division. Guy has still not scored a goal with Paraguay. I think honestly, just a quick overview on him. I think that's going to be the big thing for Paraguay.
Man, it is rough for Will out here. All right, I'll take over. All right, yeah, Paraguay, man. This team, it's been rough for them. It's been really rough for them, and trying to. Oh dear, you want to finish it off? Finish it off. I started to take over.
I don't think it's worth it.
Good.
All right,
Score goals. Can they score goals?
All right. Will's struggling here. All right, but I'll take over while he gets adjusted. All right. But yeah, Paraguay. I mean, this is a team that, let's be real, has been one of the bottom feeders of CONMEBOL for a long time, for the past few decades, and they are struggling. Like I said, like Will said, they do have a couple names. One he didn't mention too was Gustavo Gomez, the El Capitan of Palmeiras of Brazil, and their captain as well. And it's a team that, they have some talent, but I think they lack overall quality and depth everywhere else on the team. And one of the biggest things, and I think I heard Will say it, their biggest issue is offense as well. They have such a hard time scoring. They did get a victory against Panama, like he did mention, but after looking at that game, and Will could probably talk more about that game, it seemed like it was a little bit of like a B-ish squad. And same thing for Panama. It wasn't like super full strength. It seemed like both teams were just trying to, get out of that without any injuries and just, kind of be a little bit of a dress rehearsal. So, but I did see they have only beaten Bolivia, Nicaragua, and now Panama in the past 2 years. 2 years. So you're talking about by far the worst team in CONMEBOL, a Nicaraguan team, which is one of the worst teams in CONCACAF, and then a Panama team that wasn't necessarily full strength and ready to run a full 90 and just trying to stay. So this team has just not been impressive at all. And I have a hard time picking them to win anything because they have really, really struggled and it's just not looked good for them. While, like I said, and they're also an aging group as well. I believe they're top 5 oldest team in the Copa this year. So we'll see. Adam, what's your thoughts on this team?
Um, I'm in a similar opinion. I feel like they have some bright spots, which I'll mention in a few seconds here. But they're not a complete squad. They have gaps. Like you said in attack, I totally agree with that. The only player that I even know from Paraguay is Julio and Ciso, the 20-year-old for Brighton.
You know the other one. You know another one. Matias Rojas.
He's not
Inter
he's not a
Miami.
striker. He's not a striker though.
Midfielder.
I was
He's attacking
getting there.
midfielder.
He's an attacking midfielder. He's going to be playing on the wings. So Matias Rojas, yes, that's what you had to step on me there, but that's who I was going for. Matias Rojas, Inter Miami zone. I mean, he is a very talented player. You could say what you want, us being, Inter Miami people, but this is somebody who, it was discussed even potentially going over to Europe and playing there. But he came here for this, pretty unique opportunity to play with one of the greatest players of all time, and his friends. So it's going to be a struggle because I just don't think, especially in a tournament like this, you could do anything unless you have a striker. And it's going to be tough for them. We'll see how much Almiron and Rojas can do on the wings. It'll be an interesting one, but yeah, you've said most of it already, and pretty much everything else that you said, I agree with.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like they're only, and if you wouldn't even talk about Almiron, like this is a guy who also has gone out of favor at Newcastle. He has really struggled at Newcastle towards the later half of the season, and he got benched and became a role player off the bench. So I have a heart, and I saw another Inter Miami player, but I feel like would help them a lot. That was gone, and it's because he's entered is Diego Gomez. He was a guy who's a motor. He was the captain of the U20 team, and he's somebody who could have helped bring a little bit of youth and energy in that midfield for the Paraguayan national team. But look, man, I'm not expecting a whole lot from them. They haven't really shown anything, honestly. So, yeah, now that Will's back and he's on a better situation, Will, why don't you kind of finish your final thoughts on Paraguay?
Holy crap. My bad, y'all. I just real quick for the viewers, I'm so sorry, y'all. Had a lot of internet connection problems out here in the boonies of Florida. So we're good. We got it all down now. We're good. My fault. So, but yeah, like you said, honestly, Julian, I was able to hear that like last part you were really talking about. Miguel Almiron kind of turned into a role player for Newcastle, kind of was a more of a bench player. Enciso was injured the entire, basically the majority of the season. Gustavo Gomez is another big name. Shout out to center back, plays at Palmeiras. I would say arguably one of the best CBs in CONMEBOL international level. I think he's one of the top guys. The only kind of crappy thing, like you said, is he's going to have to do a lot more than by himself.
A winner.
Yeah, exactly. He's
the only real winner on that team.
Yeah. Now, I will say you're a little bit bullish, Julian, on Paraguay. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say that, they can win the tournament. They're going to, I truly am with you as well. I don't think they'll get out of the group. The big thing, though, with Paraguay is you have to look at past history as well. 2011 did not win a single game. In the knockout stage as well, didn't score a single goal, and they made it in the final. How that happens, how they're able to make it. Obviously, they face Uruguay in the final. They get spanked 3-0 by Luis Suarez and Edison Cavani. But this team can still do it. And I remember in Panama, people would always say, this was always a saying they would joke around and say, ojo con Paraguay. Ojo con Paraguay. Watch out with Paraguay. This team is tricky. They're just a weird, odd bunch, but they can get the job done. And the majority of these guys play Copa Libertadores. They play at the higher level, via Santi. So, hey, just ojo con Paraguay. Watch what they can do.
I will say, I mean, I'm going based off recent history, and like if we kind of, I'm talking about the past 2 years, just probably similar to what this team. Like I said, I think you were out at the time, but their only wins have been against one time against Bolivia. They beat Nicaragua, and then they just beat you guys, which I said, you watched that game a little bit better. It almost seems like that game was completely wiped off the face of the earth because it was so hard to find any information about it. But it seems like it was kind of like B squads for both teams and just trying to get out of it. You know what I mean? Like just trying to make it through and not bring any injuries. So it's like, can't really put too much stock in that. And then, like I said, you've only beat Nicaragua in a friendly, and then you beat Bolivia in qualifying. So, which is 1-0 against one of the worst teams probably the worst team in the tournament. So I mean, if we're going off recent history, man, I have a hard time going against.
Don't get me started on the Panama game. I think I sent it to you, Julian. Fajardo missed open sitter. Enough said. I'm not going to go to that game, dude. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall, but Paraguay, they lack goals as well. That's another thing. They just can't score. And like you just said, they've beaten Bolivia, our B-ish, A-ish team in a way. And who was the other one? You said Venezuela? Or no, Nicaragua, right? Nicaragua, yeah.
Which is like one of the worst teams in CONCACAF. So take that with a good result. So, all right, highs and lows. Adam, high, low. Where are they playing?
For me,
where are they placing?
They're not getting out of the group, so their high is beating Costa Rica or coming out of a draw with Costa Rica and getting that goal differential third place. That's their high. Their low is, not absolutely having a horrible fucking tournament and, coming last, no wins.
I'll make mine quick. I agree with you. I think their high is third place and their low is last. Where are you at, Will?
Man, you guys are kind of bullish on these boys, man.
I mean, that's a realistic high and low. I mean,
I agree with the low. For me, the high, and I'm just gonna be quite honest, is this is a sleeper team. Like I said, be obviously in past years, like you said, Julian. But I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't think they're gonna get first. But there is a chance. Brazil's form has really, really been slacking as of late. I mean, this is probably one of the worst Brazilian teams. We'll get to them in a second. But just be careful. I think Paraguay, they're tricky. They're sneaky. This is a defensive built team. They're solid in the back, Gustavo Gomez and those guys. So they could slip up, or they could obviously slip up against Costa Rica and stuff, but I could see them getting 3 against y'all and then a draw against Colombia or Brazil, and Paraguay goes on in second place. And then low, like y'all said, low is they get 0 points. They lose to everybody.
So their last game against Brazil was February 2022, and they lost 4-0.
Was that a friendly?
It was a qualifying match. That was the last time they played Brazil. It's actually been a while since they played Brazil. And I'm with you on the Brazil downturn, but we're seeing Brazil struggle against pretty high level teams. Well, I take that back. They did struggle against Venezuela, and so USA. But nonetheless, but yeah. How about you kick us off, Adam? Are you still there? All right, Adam's back. Adam, give us the next team. Who you got?
Let's go for the loudest bunch of people in our part of Florida, the Colombians.
Here we go. Some say the greatest team in the world.
They knew where I was going before I even said it, which is the funniest part. I just said loudest in our part of Florida. No, nothing more needs to be said.
Dude, loudest in the USA.
So I've been loudest in South America, bro. I've been seeing man, I get you guys are in incredible form. I understand it. Be proud of it. It's an awesome form.
Gosh. You are not.
But man, you guys out here saying you're the best team in the world,
bro. They're hot right now.
They're hot.
You're not the best,
year, though. You're not the best team in the world, man. I'm sorry.
My Colombians, get at
Go get that.
You didn't even make the World Cup. Like, you can't be calling yourself the best team in the world. And meanwhile, there's Argentina who's there, who's literally the best team in the world. So, but yeah, look, I do think Colombia is a very, very serious threat and a legitimate contender to the whole thing. When I was seeing Colombians saying like, "Yeah, we're the best team in the world. No, we're going to smack everyone. We're getting first." I literally saw somebody who was like, "We're getting first. We're beating Brazil 3-0, Paraguay 4-0, and Costa Rica 5-0." I was like, "All right, let's see." But anyways, I'll go into the overview of the team. Yeah, like I said, this team that's, I believe, what is it, 23 unbeaten now? Extremely impressive. They have been playing really good. They have not given up more than 3 goals since 20. They haven't given up more than 2, I should say, since 2020 against Ecuador, where they lost, I think, 6-1. So their defense extremely strong. And this is a team, too, that doesn't necessarily have the elite world-class superstars like you see with Brazil and Argentina. This is a team that's just, they play higher level leagues. They're quality players. A lot of them are role players. Your big star, obviously, is Luis Diaz for Liverpool. But obviously you have James Rodriguez. So these are a lot of Brazilian league players and some players playing in Serie A, as well as some also role players who are also playing in the Premier League in Crystal Palace and whatnot. So it's a quality team. It's a really good team. Now, would I expect this team to be where they're at now and the form and the fact that they're in? I was like, no, not at all. I believe that they're probably overperforming for what their talent is. But not to say that their talent is bad. It's really impressive. I think they're playing at a much higher level. I do want to poke at the Spain game. People want to say, well, while they beat Spain, but you look at that Spain team, that was like a B Spain squad. That wasn't the strongest Spain had to offer.
Oh, it was 100%. It was a B Spain
Yeah, I mean,
squad.
you had Jose Lu starting a striker, and then it just, I mean, you missed
the captain was Oyarzabal.
So I just want to I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see you guys get humbled a little bit, but nonetheless, very strong defense and obviously has the capability to really attack on the forefront and score goals and put up goals. But I think where they really strive is defensively. I like what they do, and every single one of their players are not just playing well for the national team, but also just playing well for their clubs. But yeah, I'm gonna bounce it over to you, Adam.
Yeah, they're not just a team. Regardless of their form, they already are coming in here with names. Everybody knows their biggest name, Luis Diaz of Liverpool. He's an absolute baller for them. Even James Rodriguez is still there and kicking, although maybe not at the level he used to be at. So of course they got David Ospina in goal. You got some other players like Yerry Mina and Daniel Munoz. And Johan Mojica. They got good defenders, like they do. Even Davinson Sanchez, he still plays for Galatasaray. I mean, come on, man.
I know you hate him, Adam.
Fuck Galatasaray and fuck Tottenham. All I'm gonna say. But their one weakness is probably attack because all you got is Luis Diaz. But they've been in such good form.
Adam, they coming for you in the comments, bro. Echo.
Let them.
Luis Diaz.
I will say they do struggle. And not that they have quality strikers, but they don't have an elite striker.
That's their production.
And I think that's what Adam's trying to get at.
Like a center 9 or just like forwards, like wingers and everything?
Forwards. Center I'm 9. Just saying forwards. I'm saying forwards.
Oh, he's saying all the delanteros. Okay.
Yeah.
Adam said I'm calling all of them out.
I like John Arias. I think he's good. And then
he's good, but like I said, you're talking about. Okay, so this is what you want to claim. You're going to claim you're the best team in the world. Then I'm allowed to criticize this shit. Then you don't have people in every fucking position because there are teams that can go down the list of players in their starting 11 and tell you exactly who they play for without having a cheat sheet up. Like sorry, that's just how it is. You guys want to beat Brazil, you guys want to beat Argentina, then we're gonna have to talk about gaps in the squad and
Or
players
even
who aren't
Uruguay.
superstars. That's just how it is. Yeah, even Uruguay. You guys are gonna do well, and before you type shit in the chat, then maybe how about you wait until the predictions?
Bore is good.
What do you got?
He's solid, but I do think they're like a super elite striker, but they have quality though, nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, overview team, kind of. I agree. I get what both of you guys are saying, Adam and Julian. Like Adam, you kind of said it more in depth. Julian, you kind of like hit the glimpse of it. Like this team, obviously, their main guy, the number one, obviously, is Lucho Diaz. Obviously, he's the playmaker. He's the game changer. He's going to be the difference maker if Colombia is to see themselves lifting the trophy at the end of July. The thing is, though, like y'all said, I think they're role players. I think this is what Nestor Lorenzo has created in this team, and he's really, really built. Julian, I got to say one thing. Obviously, I'm not defending Colombians. I'm not saying that, oh, you're right. I agree. I agree with both of y'all. They're not the best team in the world right now, by no stretch of the imagination. But I will say this, though. This is the hottest team in the world right now. This team is
I can say that. I can agree
form.
on that.
I'm not just on crazy form, but the teams are beating. And yes, I agree. That was a kind of Spain B team. Romania maybe didn't even play their best. The USA underestimated them. We could all say
that was a solid win. I would give them that. That was a really solid win.
That's what I'm saying, though. You guys just said names. I mean, obviously, and that's where I gotta say. I mean, you guys, Davinson Sanchez. I mean, Camilo Vargas in the net. Jerry Mina probably won't even play because Lukemi from Bologna, who just had an incredible season, is probably going to start over him.
Yeah, he was a big role player in Bologna. I mean, he was a big part in getting Bologna to the Champions League. I mean, honestly.
Right, exactly. And like I've seen like John Arias, dude, Carrascal, Richard Rios, like the names go on. And like you said, Julian, also, this is a predominantly Brazilian Serie A team. They have a lot of guys that play there with John Arias, Carrascal, Richard Rios. The thing is, though, I think, like I said, just Nestor Lorenzo has these guys firing on all cylinders. Now, with all that being said, we could talk about the win streak. We could talk about how hot this team looks. And they're in crazy form. And James Rodriguez as well. I mean, dude, I don't know what it is with this guy, but he gets up for these national team games. He's incredible.
Yeah, because he's been okay with Sao Paulo. And he's not even starting a lot of those games consistently, but yeah, like you said, he's just one of those guys who just performs for the national team consistently.
And like you said, there's just stuff like this team, like y'all said, the attack, it's still kind of wild to think Cucho, he didn't even get called up. Like for a lot of teams in Comde Bowl, he would probably be the starter, So the team I feel like has that depth, but I just think also, and honestly, real quick, last thing on this team I want to say is, this team knows what it's like. And Julie even said it. They didn't go to the World Cup. And that's kind of real quick with my negative on them is that's what worries me a little bit with Colombia is going down the stretch. I think they'll get out of the group. I think they'd be able to win a knockout game. But this team hasn't really been tested like that. Last Copa America, they did good, made it to a semifinals, lost to Argentina in pens. Didn't make the World Cup after that. Previous to that, Copa America got knocked out early in 2019. So this team, when it comes, there's this kind of like overarching view on them that when it comes to knockout football, they don't do the best. And it kind of shows. So I think Colombia's got to realize and kind of get over. I think if they can get over that first hump, which will either more than likely be Uruguay or the USA, then hey, all props to Colombia. They can run with it.
And I will say too, and I know I think Will called me a Brazil Serie A glazer, a Brazilian glazer. But I think to me, this kind of proves that it is a very strong competitive league that like this is a national team with a lot of players that play in that league. And I think it's a league that people sleep on. I mean, people want to always point to Europe, but like, look, I mean, playing in Brazil is no joke. It's a very high level league and better than probably any other league outside the top 5 of Europe. So, but I do want to add this last point. I think Colombia. I know, Will, you're going to make fun of me, and I know it's going to sound whatever because I'm a Costa Rica supporter, but I think Colombia, and maybe for Paraguay too, they're going to get caught in a trap game. I really believe they're going to get caught in a trap game. It's a team that, like you said, you're on an extreme streak. You're in this insane streak right now. You are riding super high. Like I said, I mean, even the fans are saying we're the best. Like, and rightfully so, because you're playing so well, you're feeling so good, you're on top of the world. I really think either Costa Rica or Paraguay are going to put this team into a trap game. I think they're going to be looking at that Brazil matchup, focused on that, and get caught. Or focused on looking and like, we're going to advance, no problem. And look, man, Costa Rica has beaten Colombia in a Copa America in 2016, 3-2. Obviously different squads, but there is that like faith that like, hey, like there's a possibility that you can, and Paraguay, I'm sure, has beaten Colombia throughout the history as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of those might be a trap game and they get caught on like a loss or a draw somewhere. That's just kind of my one thing, whether I think that's a possibility, and that's what might stop them against getting first place potentially. Because I think Brazil, and we're going to get into the more, Brazil, because they're struggling, there's so much pressure. They want to take every game super serious. While Colombia, I mean, some might say it's pressure because they're on a streak, but I think there's a possibility that they're looking so far ahead that they could actually get caught in a trap game.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And maybe it's not even the group stage. Maybe they do get a group stage and they get caught against USA. They're like, oh, this is a team we beat already. We trounce them, and then USA upsets them if they match up, obviously. So, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's a possibility because, I mean, we see it all the time in all kinds of sports and all kinds of things. Upsets are going to happen. I know we do our predictions or whatever, and we're generally picking the favorites, but somebody's going to get upset. Somebody. We just don't know who yet, but it's going to happen. And I just feel like if I had to predict who might get upset, I have a feeling that Colombia might. It's potentially.
Julian sounding like Alexi Lawless out here. Upsets happen. Upsets happen. They just happen.
It does, dude.
Hey,
if anybody knows that upsets happen, it's this guy. It's this country right here. We're the king of upsets. So that's what I'm saying. Be careful. You know what I mean? But anyways, highs and lows. Adam, give us your highs.
Highs. Well, I just don't see them winning it. I see them. They can get to the final. That's just how I feel, honestly. I feel like if whoever they end up against in the final, it would just be too difficult for them. Low.
Yeah.
I think they're low. They get out of the group. I don't see them struggling to get out of the group. Even if they get hit with a trap game in the group, I think they still wake up early enough to get out of it.
I'm exactly with Adam. I think their high is making it to a final. Getting there. I do think this is where it ends. I think Argentina are just going to be too strong for them. And I don't see them beating them because Argentina is my favorite coming out of that side of the bracket. But I do think it's a realistic possibility they can be Brazil, United States, and Uruguay. So, and then my low is quarterfinals. I think, and honestly, I would say getting knocked out of the quarterfinals you might consider that a disappointment for them. That might be a little bit of a disappointment. So I would say low is quarterfinals.
Oh gosh, I'm high. This kind of might be something that might get a lot of flack for. This is a pretty hot take. I'll go quick with my low. I think there is a possibility just because, like I said, it's happened in the past. Colombia is strong to get out of the group, but I do see, and I'm gonna give a little bit of flack to you, Julian. I'll say a little bit. It could happen. I could see Colombia. This is like a 2% chance. I want to clarify. I'm not saying this will probably happen, but this is a very, very small chance. But I could see them getting grouped. And I'm not saying, dude, Costa Rica is about to win the whole thing. I'm just saying I could see easily Costa Rica. I could see Costa Rica or Paraguay, either one of them potentially doing it. Like I said, very little chance though. I don't think that'll happen realistically. I think Colombia will be fine to be able to get out of the group. High for this team. I completely agree both what you and Adam just said. I think this team can make it to a final. Now, I will say, though, whoever does make it to the final out of this side of the bracket, and we'll get it with Brazil, maybe this is another hot take. They're going to be coming through the straight out gauntlet. They're going to have to get out of a tough group. Then you're going to have to probably be either Uruguay or the USA. If not them, then get Brazil again in the semifinals.
I don't think that's a hot take, though. I mean, you look at the two sides of the bracket. On one side, you got USA, Brazil, Colombia, Uruguay. And then on the other side, you got Argentina. So
that's what I'm saying.
They gave Argentina a fucking layup.
This could be arguably the greatest Copa America run if they win it, obviously. But like y'all said, I just think they're going to go through too much of a gauntlet if they make it to the final. And that's my high for Colombia is the final.
I think that's a good segue into the next team that has a lot of high expectations, but has been getting a lot of flack recently, and rightfully so for some of it. I think some of it's a little dumb, but that's just how it is when you're a team or a country rather that cares so much about this sport. It's just there's always going to be those kinds of feelings. But I'm going to start with some of the notable players on the squad. I don't even want to fucking talk about defense. You guys can talk about that because I'm slightly biased, but I also think it's fucking stupid and they need to get their heads out of their ass if they want to do something about it. But I'll get there after. The usual suspects in midfield, you're going to have Lucas Paqueta, Douglas Luiz, Bruno Guimaraes, Pepe from Porto, Ederson from Atalanta. So you got some other guys there that can fill in a role. Of course, Andres Pereira from Fulham. He's, don't sleep on him. He's a nice little player who, for the Brazil side, can come off the bench and give him some depth. Brazil actually is bringing Endrick over from Palmeiras, soon to be Real Madrid. Gabby Martinelli from Arsenal also going to be probably coming off of the bench. But the big boy for Brazil, and it's going to be the key for getting them to where they want to go, is going to be Vini Jr. from Real Madrid. He's got to be their guy if they want to get something out of this. But all I'm going to say about the defense is their fucking coach is stupid, and you are not going to win anything if you think that Gabriel, the center back for Arsenal, is a bench warmer. He's had 2 seasons straight of competing against one of the greatest teams in all of Europe, a team that had to break the rules over 100 times to assemble themselves, and yet he's a bench warmer to some of these bums that they have. I don't fucking care. You're it's like, am I stupid to fucking am I biased or am I fucking
no, you're not
stupid though.
No,
it's insane.
All right, I would say
I mean, come on, Marquinhos is fucking 40 years old. Get him off the fucking team at this point. My god damn it, man. Fucking everybody's got to look backwards. I don't give a shit.
Marquinhos,
fucking legend, a legend. Wow, such a legend playing at PSG.
Marquinhos
wow,
is 30.
What a storied fucking club. 30, he plays like he's 40. I don't fucking care. It's trash.
Adam's garbage. Right though. No, Adam's right because the thing
fucking
is
dog shit. It's dumb as fuck.
How are you
top 5 fucking league, Champions League level player,
top 1 league, Premier. Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying.
I could say that, but then Julian's gonna have to go into his thing again about British fans. But it's fucking stupid. Gabriel is the best center back on that whole fucking team currently. Okay, I get it. Marquinhos is a fucking national team legend. Eder Militao plays for Real Madrid. Oh, we won a Champions League. Gabriel is the best fucking center back on that team. I don't fucking care what you say.
Adam's like, won 2 Champions Leagues. Like, I give a fuck. No, like, it's tough.
He's the best center back on that fucking team. He is. Right now, he is.
So I think right now, yes, I agree with you. Right now, I think Marquinhos
right now, and that's what this is about.
He did not play a full season with PSG. He was off and on a lot. He did play in Champions League. Militao's coming off of an ACL injury. I think, to me, that's the big question mark, is what happens with Militao if he actually plays, because he didn't play Champions League for Real Madrid right at the end, and he did play the last La Liga games when the
you're telling me that Eder Militao Gabriel center back pairing is not fucking disgusting, and you're not going to play that. It's disgusting.
what I'm worried about.
Militao's healthy, of course, I agree with that.
And that's the thing. I don't know. That's why I'm
And
really
if
curious
anyone
to
disagrees
see
with me in the
what he
comments, you're
does.
fucking wrong. I will argue with you there. I really will. I will fucking take time and argue with you in the comments if you think I'm
Gabriel
wrong
has
about
been
that. Healthy Eder Militao and Gabriel is the center back pairing that will win Brazil this tournament. They want to beat fucking Argentina. They got to do that. Now, we can talk all we want about Vinny. He's got to show up. I mentioned that in the beginning. He's going to have to show up.
He's not just mediocre with Brazil.
He's so bad with Brazil. He's got to show up. He's got to be that guy. And like, who else are you going to rely on? You really want Rafinha to be that guy? He can once a game. No, it's true though. Rafinha will come up and hit you with a banger assist or a banger goal once a game.
Trust me.
Yeah, you do know. You're fucking Barcelona. Yeah. So he'll do it once a game. Rodrigo's a good player to have, but like I said, you're gonna have to have your Rafinha playing well. You're gonna have to have your Vinny Jr. playing well. Because if not, then what are you gonna fucking do? Play an 17-year-old Endrick and Gabriel Martinelli? Which that I understand coming off the bench. He could start on the wing, but when you have Vinny, listen, that's the thing. Vinny is playing so bad that you at this point, why not? But they're not gonna. They're not gonna. We know they're not gonna do it.
I will say this. I think in regards to the attack, and this is a big question mark. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I think they might play fucking Endrick. I think they're going to.
I probably will.
I think
if it was me, I would probably have Martinelli as the striker. I know that's not ideal, but I would give it a try. I would give it a try.
Rightfully so.
A lot of
Richarlison and Jesus. No Jesus, no Richarlison. So usual suspects are missing.
Because the thing is, Rodrigo, and I know it worked for Real Madrid because it just happened. He had Jude, which I think really helps a lot. Those guys were just wingers, man. They're wingers. And when you put Rafinha in there, now you're forcing one of them to play the striker role. You are. And I like Rafinha.
You are, yeah, exactly. Like I said, you'd be settling if you had Martinelli at striker.
Honestly, like Rafinha coming off the bench for Rodrigo late in games. I like that.
I could see that combo
because I think towards the end of games, Rodrigo can slow down a tad bit, and I think Rafinha brings a ton of pace. And they might bring in Endrick. I don't know. I think they're going to try to throw in a real a proper striker in there, but I don't know. That's a big question mark. I do want to shout out.
I would like to see how Endrick would play with those guys. That I think.
I did. I saw it when they played against. That was an England A squad, and he looked good. And against Spain.
That's true. That's true. But solid, I want to see. I want to see it in a tournament. Is what I should have said. I want to see.
Yeah.
I do. If they give him that chance, and if he does look solid, and he did. I remember. One of those games I missed, but I remember one of them I watched. I forgot which one.
Been a baller this year. Rightfully deserved a spot to start for Brazil. I think he took that spot over Casemiro, and he's grabbed it by the balls.
Yeah,
he's grabbed it by the balls. And he's like, "I'm your new attacking mid." I thought he's been really good for Fulham, and I mean, we'll just see how this all. The fullback situation is still a big red flag. What they're going to do at fullback.
It's funny. They used to.
There was a moment where they were bringing fucking Danny Alves. Not Danny Alves. Yeah, Danny Alves back. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
But imagine that back in the day, they had prime Marcelo and prime Danny Alves. It was disgusting. Exactly. They don't got that anymore. But you heard enough from me and Julian. What do you got? Anything to add, Will?
Oh man, listen. I mean, like y'all said, kind of, you guys summed it up well. I mean, you were about to say it. I agree with Adam. This used to be the land of fullbacks. Like, if you were a club, you were like, dude, I need a fullback. I need a left back. I need a right back.
It's like, where am I going to get a fullback from? I'm Brazil.
Exactly. Like, it was just like automatic. Dude, now, Jan Couto? Like, come on, man. I'll put some respect on his name. Had a great season with Girona. He doesn't look the worst. But, dude, I mean, it's a big level of downgrade. Also, real quick, this team, I think, honestly, for Brazil, I think, I don't want to say it, but I feel like they have a lot. I mean, obviously, it's clear. It's on paper, after the Mexico and USA game.
We lost Will there for a sec, but I do want to add while we're waiting for his connection to come right back that, Jan did. It is worth mentioning that Jan did just sign for Manchester City.
Parent club.
So it is the parent club, but they don't bring somebody over unless they think that they're worth it.
Yeah.
So had a good season. So I mean, it's worth mentioning. He deserves a chance. But yeah, it is. But it is worth mentioning because you look at having prime Marcelo, prime Danny Alves to now we got to put this untested guy who just got signed to Manchester City from not even from I mean, yes, it's a club, established club, but it's like a club in their farming system. It's
Right.
kind of like Leipzig
man,
signing
they
somebody
got
from
third.
Salzburg. It's like, okay,
They
all
got
right,
third in La
cool.
Liga.
Yeah, no, they had a great season. We were definitely, and me and
Could've
Julian
won
were
the
talking
season.
about it in many a podcast ago. But yeah, this Brazil's going to be a very interesting one.
Will,
We're
finish
gonna
what
see
you're
how it
going
goes,
to.
but Will, yes, definitely go ahead and finish what you were gonna
Just
say.
real quick,
You
I
got
think
cut
this
off by
team-
internet for a sec.
The boony Florida internet, my bad, y'all. Yeah. No, listen, I think honestly, like y'all said, Martinelli, I mean, Savio, Rodrigo, Vini, obviously Paquetá. I rate, I mean, obviously it's the Brazilian forwards, but I think this team, I think they genuinely can produce goals. I don't think that's where the issue is going to be. I think the issue is going to be creativity. I think this team can obviously create things. They can create chances within their clubs, individually players, but it's just going to be coming together as a collective unit. I mean, it literally took them a last second miracle to beat a Mexico team. And I think, obviously, granted, yes, that was a B team they kind of rolled out more with. They looked like they were just having fun in the moment, soaking in the crowd and stuff. But the thing is, that kind of worries me a little bit with Brazil is we saw this 8 years ago in 2016, same kind of vibe, same kind of team in a way. Obviously not the same players, but a vibe that was kind of like, well, new coach. We're kind of getting soaked into stuff. At the time, the coach was Julian. Remind me his name. Who was the coach they took to the World Cup in Russia?
Oh, for Brazil?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Why am I drawing a blank?
I forgot now.
I forgot too.
He was the guy that did that thing. Dude, I can't remember his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'll look it up while you do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, same vibe, new coach. This team almost, I mean, you guys remember they got grouped. So it's not impossible for Brazil. Granted, 3 years later, they went on to go win the 2019 edition. But this team, it takes them, Brazil, they're superstars and they're always going to be superstars. Like, I mean, Adam just said a couple names. Tite. I mean, the thing is, this team will always be a bunch of superstars. That's never going to change. The issue is, how are they going to gel together? I don't rate this new coach at all. This dude, he came from the Brazilian league. Good for him. He knows a lot of the guys. He knows Neto, the back.
I will say people rate him. I've seen people from Brazil say he's not bad. He's obviously, look, you'd love to have Ancelotti after he backed out.
They're freaking Sao Paulo fans, bro. They're obviously going to say that.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard Palmeiras fans say that he's not. He's all right. So I don't know. Like I don't know coaches that well. We'll see. But yeah, highs and lows. I'll go high. High. They managed to put it all together and they win the whole thing. Low, I think, is a semifinal.
Really? Wow. Okay. I think that, in my opinion, I think this team has the widest high and low gap because they're high. Like Julian said, I think they could, if they put it all together, they have the talent to win the whole thing. I don't think that's a doubt in anybody's mind. But I think that their low will be getting just out of the group and then losing their first match out of the group because, there is a world where you can see them coming in second place in this group, having to play Uruguay in the first knockout round and losing to Uruguay. So I think they got a pretty wide high-low. That's the low for them. I don't know if it's going to go out that way. We'll see when we do the predictions, but they got a pretty wide gap.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Adam's high and low. Also in the sense of, I think it's very spread out for this team. Oh gosh, unlike Colombia, I don't think. I mean, it's happened. Like I said, it happened in 2016, but I don't think Brazil's going to get group. I just think there's too much talent on the paper. There's just too much depth within this team to get group by Costa Rica or Paraguay. Like, all due respect, nothing to those teams, but this is Brazil. They're at a higher level. They have to be firing at all cylinders. Like Adam also said, if you ask me after the group stage and we say they're playing Uruguay, I think they can get knocked out. They can get bounced in the quarters. Granted, they play the United States, get a favorable draw, get a beat up Colombia. Brazil can make the final. They can win the thing. Like I said, this team can do the run. They can make it happen. They've done it in the past. This team, and that's another thing, they have a lot of winners on this team. Obviously, the 3 Champions League boys with Militao, Rodrigo, and Vinicius, but they have a high-flying Girona team, with Savio and Jan Couto. So there's a lot of winners on this team. There's a lot of guys that know how to
get
get
Premier League
done.
midfield.
Exactly. Lucas Paquetá, Brunos Guimaraes, and I'm drawing a blank on the other, but you guys get the point. This team has what it takes to be able to make runs and play. João Gomes. I mean, yeah. And they still have even more depth with Martinelli at Arsenal. So they can definitely make it. But like I said, there is that possibility. I agree with y'all. If they match up with Uruguay in the quarterfinals, and it's a hot Uruguay team, 9 points straight up. I mean, Darwin Nunez scored a hat trick on Panama. He got a hattie on the United States. Then Brazil could be bouncing in the quarters. So.
All right. So final team. All right, this is my team. I'll start it off first. Yeah, so I'll let you go first.
No, Julian, you go. Julian,
I'll end it off since I know the most. I know the most.
Yeah, you guys.
All right, Adam, you want to go first?
Yeah. I got a couple things. I'm gonna leave most of it to Julian for sure, because he's definitely the most knowledgeable. These are his boys. I think it's pretty obvious that Manfred Ugalde is gonna have to be their guy. It's a big loss. I know it's just a goalkeeper, but it's a big loss losing a leader and to retirement like Keylor Navas.
The only good player they got.
Yeah, I mean, you lose the presence in the locker room. You lose that presence in the locker room. So that's in training camp and Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, y'all.
This is the way he said that, like under the breath. It's just like perfect time.
Keep going, Adam.
They're gonna have a new goalie. They're not gonna have that steady leadership, that man who's been there through it all for club and country.
My hero.
In the training camp, in that locker room. So that's gonna hurt them. Now the question is, are they a better team than Paraguay? That's gonna be the big question. I need to think about this one for a little bit, so I'm gonna let you guys talk because you're very passionate, and this is the one that I'm very, iffy about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Julian, you want me to go real quick?
Yeah, go.
Okay, all reality, guys. I'm joking, by the way. Keylor Navas is not the only decent player to come out of Costa Rica. I know Brian Ruiz, Joel Campbell, Tejada, list goes on and on and on. But listen, the thing is with this Costa Rica national team, and being very, very blunt and honest with it, I think they're ahead of schedule. I'm going to be quite honest, going not to backtrack real quick, but even like Julian, we had all talked about it. And I remember previous to that game, we were all talking, all three of us. I'll be quite real. If Honduras would have brought an A team, like starters, I think honestly they could have potentially won. I think the fact that they were missing basically their entire starting 11, Costa Rica. I mean, Navas showed up for that game. That was his last ever international game with the CR team. I think Costa Rica was going to be able to win it. It looked kind of obvious. So I think this team is ahead of schedule. I think they're ahead of the project that Gustavo Alfaro that has planned for these guys. Now, I will say, though, the up atop, I've got to shout out a quick name. I won't go obviously super far. Julian knows way more about the roster, but I got to shout out my boy Alcocer, Josimar Alcocer. This guy, I'll keep it real. Dude's a beast, man. He is an absolute. He's a unit. He's good. He's really good. He fires well. He shoots off well. I didn't get to watch too much of the Uruguay game whenever you guys friendly them, but I did see both of your World Cup qualifiers, mostly the Grenada game. That was an away game for y'all. And this guy's good. He fires well. Obviously, granted, it was Granada, but I mean, you have him. Obviously, Kenneth Vargas, I rate him as well. Obviously, the Scottish League's not the best, but had a good season over in Scotland. He seems to be fitting in well with the team.
He was one of the best strikers in Scotland.
Yeah, exactly. One of the top scorers. The thing is, also, I mean, you have Manfredo Galde. You've got Andy Rojas from Herediano. There's a lot of young strikers and even a decent amount of midfielders with Orlando Gallo, Ariel Lacerda, who's mostly kind of plays on the wings. So there's definitely
he's a bum.
He's actually having a really good season right now, Adam, to be fair. He's actually like balling for Montreal.
To be fair, he is balling with Montreal, but
no, I don't want to hear it. Nope.
But that's the thing, just wrapping it up real quick. I think this team, they present a lot of future, and that's what I'm saying. They're ahead of the project. They're ahead of the game. Now, granted, looking within just not the future of Costa Rica in 8 years from now, but looking right now at this national team, I think the big issue that's going to happen in Copa America is I think just to be blunt, not hating on CR, I understand Panamanian and all, but I think their defense is just going to get exposed, man. I think the whole issue with JPV, I mean, listen, he's probably y'all's best center back, and you don't even start him. And the guy also looks so vulnerable at times when he's with Millonarios. I think Francisco Calvo, his time is just ready to go. He's got to get out of the window, man. I wouldn't even want him playing for my national team, respectively. And then Cascante can play decent with Austin FC, gets a good rep with the club. But when he goes to Costa Rica, I mean, the dude looks like he's like a U20 player. Like he's, just starting to get on the national team. So it's like, that's the issues in your center backs, your wingers, or your fullbacks. You have good talent. You have that Saprissa guy who's actually, this kid's half Panamanian, Gerald Taylor. All right, I think that's his last name.
He's going to meet, speaking of him, he's going to meet up with Kenneth Vargas at Hearts at Scotland on loan. So
Taylor?
I think I sent you that. Yeah, Taylor. He just got he's the agreement. There's a verbal agreement, but he's supposed to go to Scotland for Hearts this next year to play with Vargas.
But that's the real quick thing. I think this team, you gotta watch out in the defense. This group, and here's what sucks: all these other teams that we were talking about, what are probably the top best things that they have on their teams is their forwards. So it's just not going to be a good, I think, match for Costa Rica, and stylistically as well. I think they like to play a more slower game, pace it out. Colombia is not a slower type of team, or Brazil. So I think it's going to be tough. But Julian, what you got to say?
Yeah, so pretty much. So it just came out. We are going to have the youngest squad in all of Copa America. We have the youngest average age. We only have 2 players at 30 and older, and that is Calvo and Cascante. What you said with like Juan Pablo Vargas, who plays for Millonarios, looking back on it, I used to think he was our best center back, but when I start to think about it more, I don't think he is, and I don't think he should be starting. There's a new guy coming up the ranks called Jalen Mitchell. He is 19 years old, and he has been playing out of his mind, not just in the domestic league, but also in some of these international games. He's been playing very well, and obviously he has become favored in Gustavo Alfaro's eyes. And I think Gustavo Alfaro, he's at the point where he's like, I rather put in somebody who has potential to be something better than playing a 29-year-old Juan Pablo Vargas, who he's capped at Millonarios. He's not going anymore. Like that's going to be his peak. And I think at Jalen Mitchell's best, he is Juan Pablo Vargas. And not at his best. At what he plays at an average level, he is as good as him. But I think he has more upside and can be bigger. So yeah, I agree with you that the defense does worry me because with Cascante, he is a guy, he is very good defensively and getting tackles, but he sucks playing out of the back. I kind of have to disagree with you with Francisco Calvo. I like Calvo. I think he's pretty solid, especially playing out of the back. He's by far our best ball playing defender. As for the midfield is what really excites me about this team. You have a guy, like you said, Orlando Gallo, which people might not know of him, but I think people are going to start taking note of this guy. This guy, he right now he plays for Herediano, but more than likely he's getting a transfer this summer to somewhere big, probably overseas. My guess. The guy has been an absolute baller in the defensive midfield. He has been insane. He's been playing above level in CONCACAF Champions League. He looked well against Liga MX teams. He's looked good against Argentina. He's looked good in every single game he's played for Costa Rica. In the Honduras game, he has been not just playing well, but playing damn near like elite level. He's been playing insane for the national team. And I think he's going to get a move soon, even. And then obviously the golden boy of Costa Rica is Brendan Aguilera. He's been kind of taking a back seat to now Manfred Ugalde kind of taking that place. But at first it was Brendan Aguilera, signed with Nottingham Forest. He got loaned out to Bristol Rovers in League One in England. Had a really great second half of the season. The only reason why he got that, he did get some minutes for Nottingham, but with Nottingham facing relegation, it's kind of hard to put in, a 20-year-old guy like in his first season. So I'm expecting him to probably get some more minutes for Nottingham, if not maybe get another loan somewhere to like maybe the Championship. I would like to see. So, but he looked really good. And then up top, our strikers, man, there's a ton of talent. Manfred Ugalde, who played at FC Twente in Netherlands, but then transferred to Russia, which was a terrible move. Should never went. But I'm hoping maybe he can get some sort of move this summer, have a good performance in Copa America. But yeah, the one thing that does concern me about this team is the fullbacks. The fullbacks is where we really lack. We're kind of forced to have to play with wingbacks. With guys, so Gerald Taylor that briefly mentioned, he's going to Scotland, and Ariel Lassiter, who also plays for Montreal. Solid. I think it's the best we can do. The formation is going to be a 3-5-2, or I think they're doing a 3-4-2-1. And then into the attack, also you have Zamora, who I was very down on, but he's actually playing really well now. And I was very skeptical because he hasn't looked good for club. He hasn't really looked good for the national team, but then these past few games, he's really stepped it up and become a little bit more of a playmaker for us. And then, like you said, Alco said, you trashed him. I told you, I was like, man, this guy is good.
I didn't trash him. I
was like, this guy, he's playing in Belgium right now. He missed the first half of the season in Belgium due to injury, but this second half of the season that he played for Western Low, he has looked really good for them. Playing in the Belgian league, he was in the playoffs in Belgium. This is the guy I think he's going to get. He looks really good. He's going to be a consistent starter for them. And I think this is a team with, they have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? They have no pressure in the world. They're playing with house money. And I think when you have a team like that, that's super young, has a lot of talent. Like I said, this isn't just some like trash squad that's young. Like this is a team with honestly playing in very good leagues, playing well, starting, and then potentially looking to go on somewhere else if they're not in already a league where they want to be. And like I said, just playing the house money. When you're a young guy and you're just trying to prove something, that's the thing too. Like that's something that if you look at Colombia and Brazil, they're very worried about not falling apart. You know what I mean? Like remaining that consistency, remaining to stay good. And then you have a Paraguay team who is just like trying to prove that they're not as bad as they really are. But then you got this Costa Rica team that's really an enigma that like anything can happen because these are guys who want to progress their career. They want to show that they're better than that golden generation that just passed from 2014. And in my opinion, they're more talented and playing in higher levels than that 2014 team did already into their early 20s. Yes, I do think it's ahead of schedule, and I think that's great, honestly. I'm glad. As much as it hurt me when I saw Keylor Navas get say he was done, it made sense after all of it when he said he's like, look, I don't want to take this opportunity from somebody else who's going to take the reins. And I'd rather let that next goalkeeper get that experience in a tournament like this. It looks like our boy Patrick Siqueira is going to get the start. He plays for Ibiza in Spain. We'll see. He's going to pick him or Chamorro, who is plays for Saprissa for a long time, but now going to Portugal.
Start Chamorro. Do not play Chamorro.
I don't think he's going to play. But he did just recently get a move to Portugal in the Portuguese league. So I'm really excited to see him play over there. So like I said, there's a lot of talent, a lot of pieces moving. And I think after this tournament, you're going to see it more. We're going to have a big exodus because last year was a huge exodus for us of players getting shipped out. And then this is going to happen more. I'm just so glad just look, I don't even care if we get last place. I'm just happy to see us be put into a tournament, get some experience, have a new coach that we trust because the last coach we had was fucking awful. One of the worst coaches we've ever had. 2 back-to-back terrible coaches. Now we finally got a guy who knows what it's like to take a squad that has a lot of young guys and a lot of potential and make him into a legitimate contender in the region like he did with Ecuador. And I think he's going to do with this squad as well. So I'm really curious to see what we do. And the one thing I'll end it right here is I'm calling it now, we're going to get an upset. Whether it be a huge draw or we just win, something's going to happen. It's just in our DNA. We always get, in the last Copa America we were in, 2014, this past World Cup, we beat Japan after losing 7-0 against Spain and then had the lead against Germany in the 70th minute. It's just,
bro still sleeps about
we
that.
will always compete no matter what. And that's my hot take. We're going to do hot takes later, but my hot takes, we're getting a fucking upset. I don't know who it is. I don't know who's going to be. I wouldn't necessarily call Paraguay an upset because technically we're higher in rankings than them. I think that'd just be a good win. But I think we're going to get a huge draw. I really do. I don't know if it's going to be Brazil or Colombia, but I just have a feeling. Look, man, like I said, when you underestimate us, that's when we're the king of trap games, man. Germany, like fucking Japan thought they were going to just trounce us like easy win, and then we fucking beat them. Germany was scared for a second. Germany lost their shit, and then they got knocked out on goal differential. So because we kept it close with them, so it's definitely possible. And I agree with you. Had a schedule. I'm glad getting to this tournament. I think really looking forward to 2026, and honestly, probably 2030 is when everybody's going to kind of hit their peak because, like I said, this is the youngest squad in the Copa. But all right, let's go into highs and lows. I'll kick it off with you, Adam.
So for me, it's very similar to Paraguay. Unfortunately, I think that their high is third place, and their lows, unfortunately, going to be last place. But it's a talented group. I agree with a lot of things that Julian has been saying. It's not just a random team put together. That there's a purpose to it, and even if it doesn't go so well for them this go, it'll pay off in the long run, getting them this experience.
All right, well,
Julie, you want to? I got you. Yeah. Man. Before we did this pod, guys, we talked about obviously contenders. We talked about dark horses, teams that will probably make it to the knockout stage and then get bounced first game, and then just teams that are here. They're here for the trip. They're here for the city. They're here to enjoy the moment and get experience and growth, and then they're out of the group stage. They're gone. Realistically, not here to bounce, on you guys, Julian, and say your high is to get one goal, or something. Yeah. But dude, I agree with Adam. I think the high for you guys, I gotta say, I think you guys got a really unlucky group. Also, Paraguay's a sneaky team, and Colombia and Brazil, dude. I think it's a kind of similar, kind of with Panama, unfavorable draw for y'all. But with all that being said, I just think realistically, dude, I think the high for this team is gonna be 3 points. I think you guys can potentially beat Paraguay. I think it could happen. I think that game's going to end up in a draw personally, but I think it is very highly likely that you guys could. You guys match, like I said, that's probably one of the few teams in the group you match still statistically and stylistically quite well with them. But the low for this team, dude, and this might be a little bit harsh, and this might just be me being a little bit Panamanian biased, so this might be a really hot take, but I think you guys get bounce every single game. I'm talking 4-0 each game, dude. Paraguay thrashes y'all, Brazil thrashes y'all, and Colombia puts a clinic on you guys. I could see it happening. I just think with the defense, I could see a lot of heads going down. I could see Alfaro just saying, boys, just do your thing, man. I could see that happening, but I don't think that will. I don't think so, but that'd be my low for them.
The one thing I will say is there's no way we're getting shut out the entire group stage. The attack, the one thing that we do, even in our worst games, we still fucking score. No matter who we play against. The Spain game was an anomaly. And just say that game, you take that game away, we put up goals. And that's the one thing I think we have against Paraguay is I think even though our attack is not as tested and as proven, they still get. And I think there's really something to be said with playing with house money. I think there's something to that, to go in there just free and just like, look, this is a practice run for what's to come. So Milo is, you lose all 3 games. I don't see us getting blown out, to be honest with you. We always play Colombia and Brazil really tough. We played Brazil in the World Cup and only lost 1-0.
2-0.
I don't think we're going to get blown out, be honest with you. But I do think we might have a trap game on somebody. So I would say our high is 3rd place and the low's 4th place. I think there's a world where they could potentially get 4 points, still get 3rd place, or 2 points, honestly, get 2 draws. So I'm between that 4-2 range. I think we're getting points, man. No matter what. I don't think we're going to walk away with 0. I'd be pretty shocked, but I also wouldn't be disappointed because I am going into this like, look, we're so young. It's not like a Peru or like a Bolivia where you're an age, or shit, even Paraguay, where you're just an aging squad. And it's like, you're just like, you don't know what to do next. Shit. You might even want to throw Chile in there, even though they're starting to slowly play better. But like, yeah. But so that's where we are at. So let's do our final predictions of the group. So Adam, give it to us.
All right, I'm going to start from the bottom. I am, unfortunately, Julian, I'm going to have to put Costa Rica at 4th. I'm going to have Paraguay at 3rd. I'm going to have Brazil coming in 2nd and Colombia winning the group.
All right, Will?
Yeah, literally exact same order as Adam. But real quick, I don't think I agree with you, Julian. I don't think you guys are not going to get any points. You guys will get a draw somewhere. You're definitely going to go home at least with 1 point. I could see it happening. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it potentially even 4? I mean, it's somewhere in there, but I don't think you guys will get.
Oh, we lost you for a second there, Will.
I got y'all. But yeah, I think 4th for you guys.
Be cut out again.
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, like I said, Julian, I apologize to all our Costa Rican, all our Ticos. No hate. Brotherly love, man. Neighbors. We love you guys. But I just think it's going to be just a tail too heavy for you guys. I agree. Paraguay 3rd. Like we said, watch out with them. And I completely agree with Adam as well. I think Brazil is going to be 2nd. I think that'll come down to goal differential between them and Colombia. I think they're going to tie their game, and they're both each going to beat both you guys.
Will we play a factor in that?
Yeah, most definitely you will. Because like I said, I think one of them will pounce you guys. And this is my final. I think one of them will pounce y'all, and then the other one will be like 2-1. And I'm talking last second, a brawl. Yeah, you guys put up a fight. So,
and I'll be fine with that if we lose all 3 games, but all 3 games are fucking close and competitive. Or shit, even if two of them were. Because my goal coming into this is just be competitive, look good, make a showcase. This is your showcase. You want to move, like this is your time to do it. So I'm gonna go. Look, I don't. I really think it's 50-50 between Paraguay and Costa Rica. I think it can go either way. But with me going with it, I'm going to go Paraguay last. I think we just have more speed and youth. I'm going to go Costa Rica 3rd just because of the simple idea that we can score. We can score. Paraguay's proved that they can't score, and that you're Paraguay. I mean, dude, the Paraguay, they scored 1 goal against that Panamanian team. That wasn't even the strongest Panamanian team. So I'm not super scared. And then for 2, I'm going to disagree with you guys. I think Colombia is going to get 2nd. And I think Brazil's just going to be Brazil, man. I think Brazil is just going to get it done. Like, we say they're struggling, but it's all like perspective. You know what I mean? Like, this is still fucking Brazil.
Yeah.
And it's still on paper probably the best squad in the entire tournament, if not second. I mean, you can argue between Argentina and Brazil. Probably Argentina right now, but can you really say? I mean, look, I just have Brazil getting first, so that's where I'm at. I got Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, Paraguay.
All right.
So, yeah, that is it for our prediction. That was the final group. And yeah, that's it. Me, Will, and Adam. We want to do some live streams for post games. We haven't necessarily pinpoint which games we want to do or how we're going to do it, but just be on the lookout for that. We're going to schedule them in advance, so you should see them on which games we decide to do and cover. So be sure to subscribe and like the content so you can be notified when we do those live reactions, and you can come in here and talk shit about all our picks and what we think and all this other stuff. Say, hey, you guys are fucking wrong. We don't care. We love the banter. It doesn't bother us. But yeah, I'm excited to do some live streams with you guys, and yeah, actually get to talk to some of you guys live. So
we see you, Alan Gallardo. We see you. Bring it on, baby. Come on, let's go, man. Hey, we really love it though. We're all for it.
All right. Any final thoughts, guys?
That's it.
Adam. Hey, go Cats, man. They play in 5 minutes, so.
All right. Well, you know where to find us on all the podcasts, on all the platforms. Go check us out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.